All right, y'all. City, state, country. Let me know. Let me know where you're tuned in from. Let me know where you're tuned in from. Hopefully, you can hear me okay. I want to get started. City, state, or country, if not from America. Let me know where you're tuned in from. Good evening, everybody. Hey, Michelle, Miss Idaho. Thank you, Miss Tiffany. Appreciate you. Sunkist, appreciate your support already. Oh man, San Diego. Thank you. Thank you. More from Idaho. Thank you so much. Movan, Kansas, Greensboro, Dallas, LA, Detroit, New York, Pennsylvania, Brooklyn, New York, Louisville, Kentucky. Hey, Shars, I'm doing well. Trinidad, I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much. Um, Washington, D.C., Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Hey, Naomi, Memphis, Tennessee. YP, Salanti, Michigan. I'm not sure how to pronounce that first part. Utica, New York. Thank you so much. Compton. Greenville, Detroit again, California. Wow, Boston, kind of a nice little mix tonight. Um, you all let me know where you're tuned in from and then like the video, share the video. Would you do that for me? Boston, Dallas, Alameda, California. Appreciate you. Um, doing good, O'Neill. A little tired, but doing good. No complaints. It's been quite a week, for real. Quite a week. Louisville, Kentucky. Thank you so much. Chicago, Cleveland. I appreciate you. New clients from Cleveland today. Ipsy is the right pronunciation. Okay, Ipsy. Interesting. I was today years old when I've heard of Ipsy, Michigan. Appreciate that. Pleasant Hill, California. Yes, definitely a good one for sure. Turks and Caicos. All right, where I wish I was for sure. Shout out to Turks and Caicos. Greenville, North Carolina, Detroit again. Detroit's really coming in a lot tonight. Really, really strong. Chicago. Yes, LA, Detroit again. Good gracious. Columbia, South Carolina, Memphis, Tennessee. Appreciate you. LaShawn, thank you all so much. Listen, glad to be back. St. Louis, what's up? Colin. Um, Columbia, South Carolina. Are y'all sharing the video? Like the video after you state where you're from. Like the video and then hit that share button. Let's get the numbers rising tonight. Cali, Columbia, I like that. Giselle, my daughter's name as well. Yes, I'm tired. For real. It's been a exhausting week. A lot going on. A lot going on. But getting through it and excited to be here tonight, even though it doesn't sound like it. I'll get there. Just give me a second. Y'all know how it works. Um, Yeah, all right. So if you haven't already liked the video, share the video. Share the video. And let everybody know that we are live and on the air. Hope you all can hear my soundboard. Can you hear the soundboard okay tonight? Can y'all hear that all right? I hope you can. Um, let me know if you cannot for whatever reason. Let me get my background lights on and I want to jump right in. Tonight, we started a very good, sounds good. We started a very good series last Wednesday, the evening before Thanksgiving. And it was a really good series or a good lesson that we're going to continue tonight. Where is my Govee? There it is. That we're going to continue tonight. Um, and it's so fitting because I've had so many conversations this week. A new client calendar open up. Shout out to all the new clients who who have signed up to be a part of this journey, healing journey, and giving me an opportunity to help them. I'm excited about it. I met some awesome people this week, and really looking forward to ooh, working with even more of you in the near future. So shout out to you all before I kind of get into this. Let me also say shout out to all of my subscribers. I really appreciate you, those of you that are a part of the subscription services, Patreon, Instagram for now. I really appreciate your support and want to encourage you to subscribe in that space if you haven't already. Certainly seen a jump in that subscriber space, and we're going to continue to really push that. So much so that I'm really going to scale back saving a lot of these Thursday lives. I am because I've had quite a few revelations about my work and what the next phase should look like. And so, life is all about making adjustments. And so if you are a subscriber, you'll always have access to these lives and these lives, whether they are our regular Monday or Tuesday live or our Thursday lives. But I want to encourage those of you to consider the subscription space. It's a really nice community and slightly rolled out the syllabus for 2026, which is 50 weeks worth of work. And so it's great. We're in a live in the subscription space um, where we are having what I would call um, probably one of the nerdiest talks that I've done in a while. It's on thoughts, dreams, and the subconscious mind. And Monday was insane. Monday was probably one of the best lives in the subscriber space we've ever had. And that's saying a lot because we've had a lot of subscriber lives, but that topic, thoughts, dreams, and the subconscious mind, is just next level stuff. And really, the role that your subconscious mind actually plays in your healing journey is such next level thinking. And so, if you're interested in things like that, I would highly recommend you consider the subscription space because it's really nice. And I'm not just saying this to gas. Jarwan, you can go to my link tree on my profile page and you'll see the Patreon there. Just click on that and it'll walk you through it, buddy. But we'd love to have you there. But it's just subscription space has been up next level here lately, and I'm really enjoying it. Um, so I welcome subscribers. We talked about booking sessions. Many of you have jumped on the calendar. Great. Upcoming tour stop finale Atlanta is coming up. Ooh, in 8 days. 8 days, something like that. We'll be in Atlanta next weekend, and really excited about that. It's gonna be great to be in Atlanta to close the tour, and looking forward to it. Ticket sales are doing pretty good. I think there may be maybe 30 tickets left, maybe 30, 35 tickets left, something like that. So if you have not grabbed your ticket for Atlanta, I would highly recommend you do that. And can't wait to see you there for the finale of the 2025 tour. Good news is there will be a tour in 2026. Bad news is I don't know which cities we're going to. But we're certainly going to some, and some of them will be repeats, and some of them will be new. I've got places like Orlando and Miami and Detroit. Um, Detroit. Um, I'm drawing a brain freeze, y'all. Um, New Jersey. I've got a couple of places on my mind for next year, and so it's going to be great. And yeah, Memphis. Somebody had mentioned Memphis, and I'm open to going to Memphis totally. So just looking forward to it. But again, if you can make next weekend, I would love to see you there. I'm gonna allow it to be a great trip for you. Thank you, Naomi, for your support. Appreciate you. Um, and letting Miami be a nice Christmas gift to you. I'm not Miami, Lord. Atlanta be a nice Christmas gift to you. So you can join the tour next week. But would love to see you there, as many of you as possible. And just really looking forward to ending this tour in an awesome way. Yes, Mashawn, DC is definitely on my list also. So we'll see. All right. So that's next weekend. Did we get that flyer up? Let's get that flyer up. That's next weekend, and I highly want to encourage you to do it. Don't forget, we've got Peter Collins that's coming. He's going to be the guest artist. And if you've never heard of Peter Collins, you should definitely go to IG and pull up his page and just listen. An incredible singer and musician. And so I'm looking forward to having him with us next weekend. Also, the 3-day trauma reset. If you have not signed up, make sure you do that. That course is coming up January the 5th, the 6th, and the 7th. And you need to grab a seat in that course. I always keep this particular course size small so that the information is more intimate, or the conversations are more intimate. And this year is particularly special because I'm going to be talking about how to reset from trauma. And it's going to be great. We're going to talk about how to center your emotions. I'm going to walk you through some practical ways you can reset your nervous system, which is going to be an awesome nerdy level conversation. And also how do we can recalibrate our attachment style to really lean towards the secure space. And so really good next level conversations. If you have not RSVP, do that. And if you can't make the live talks, the recordings of those conversations are always available to participants. All right. So I would love to see you all be a part of that. Now, I am working, Naomi, on the cruise. I'm working on something else as well that I can't really talk about out loud, but it is certainly going to be for people who are really serious about their work and their healing journey. And it will involve a multi-day event. So, um, looking forward to hopefully having some information on all those things soon. Now, more things we can talk about later. Let me just again welcome you. Let me thank all of our moderators for your support. Thank you so much. I want you all to remember that Inspire Nation is certainly a community on Thursdays where we try to keep it professional, but also open and engaging. So you all remain professional in the chat area. In the event that you cannot be that, or somebody comes in not professional, our moderators do an awesome job of getting rid of them. So if you do see a comment tonight that is not professional, that is rude, that is whatever, I may not always see your comments. I am literally looking at 4 screens while I'm doing this. I wish I could see everybody's comment when everybody says what they say. I can't. It's really just one of me. But in the event that somebody types something rude, just drop an eagle, and our awesome moderators on all of the channels will get rid of those folks. All right, because the eagles fly high above birds. All right. Now let's get right into this. I want you to put in the chat tonight's topic, and we are doing part 2 of how being nice left you empty. Let's talk about it. How being nice left you empty. Now, let me start here because I want to kind of start as a recap of last week. I can't get through all of last week and go through all of last week. Last week was a lot. You might want to go get that recording while it is still up, um, because we talked about this idea of self-abandonment and how that disguises itself as kindness. Had a really good conversation about, you know, many of us who call ourselves kind, but we're really not kind. We're just being fake. And we're really abandoning ourselves in the name of this pseudo kindness. It was really nice. It was a great live right before Thanksgiving. And I'm glad to be here earlier tonight just because of my children's schedule. Thank you all for the support for both of them. Daughter's doing great gymnastics. Son is doing good. He had a rough night tonight playing some big boys that were throwing him everywhere. And but he took it like a G. And they won, and he's growing through it. But it's great to see him starting and growing in his role. So shout out to the little killer. Um, but but we talked about how people use kindness in a really kind of fake way. And I'm going to talk. I want to pick up here because we connected all of this to the 5 years of healing. We talked about a major. What are some of the major challenges um, for people pleasers and overthinkers? We talked about how being nice drains you in the 5 years of healing. It was really nice, thick live. But I want to pick up there, and I want to shift to along the same vein. I want to shift to this notion of what we call authentic niceness because I had a revelation about authentic niceness. I want you to record this. The idea of being authentically nice is an oxymoron. I'm going to prove it. The idea of being authentically nice really is an oxymoron, which means it really doesn't exist like that. It sounds good on paper, it really doesn't exist. It's contradictory. All right. The idea of authentic niceness really is an oxymoron. Why? Well, if we're going to look at if we're going to consider authentic niceness to be an oxymoron, that implies that authentic and nice don't go together. And they go together, but those words don't necessarily have to join one another. And I'm calling this an oxymoron because if you're nice and you're not authentic, you're not nice at all. Niceness does not need the word authentic in order for niceness to exist, right? And so if you are being nice and you're calling niceness authenticity, I want to challenge you from the jump that perhaps you're living in a fake or inauthentic place. When you are nice, authenticity is not up for question. Okay. And I'm going to talk about some threats to what people call niceness. Um, but I was sitting here thinking, even as I was doing the introduction, I didn't even create a definition of the word nice because we really can't understand what niceness is or authentic niceness is until we even define the word nice. Yes, people really use those words together. I'm genuinely nice. Well, if you're not genuine, if you're really nice in an authentic way, shouldn't you be genuine? So when people say I'm being genuinely nice, I always get afraid. Are you implying that there are times where you're nice but you're really not nice? Are you implying that there are times that you are nice, but you're really not being your authentic self? I agree with that, April. It's like saying you fine. If you got to tell us every 5 minutes you fine, I don't know if you that fine. So people say this a lot. I'm a genuinely nice person. Yeah, those people are probably people pleasers. I'm a genuinely nice person. Those people are probably people pleasers. Those are probably people who may struggle in the boundary space. Those are probably people that might be like one of my clients talked about today, an overdoer. You just go above and beyond, and you think that going above and beyond really makes you this super nice person. But when you're going above and beyond and you're compromising your boundaries, you ain't that nice. You actually kind of fake, because you're doing it for things like validation and affirmation. And niceness that is associated to validation ain't real niceness. You need to be writing that down. Niceness associated with validation, not real. Niceness associated with pats on the back, not real. Niceness associated with what you can get out of the deal, not real. This is why I don't judge how nice people are to me by how much they smile, bat their eyes, how glossy their lipstick is. I don't pay attention to that stuff. I'm going to measure your niceness when you can't have your way. I'm going to measure your niceness when I say or do something that you don't like. What's your response going to be? And this is why many people are really being tore up in this space of niceness when it comes to being left empty. Because by the time you're pouring all of this energy into people or things in order to be validated by said people or things, all in the name of trying to appear like something you're not, that has to be tiring. That has to be tiring. I don't pay attention to what people think about me until they can't get their way with me, until I piss them off. Then I want to hear what you got to say. And while I'm on that topic, let me just say this. This is why many of you, I'm starting to warm up. This is why many of you should never be at a place where you assign titles and names to all types of peoples and connections that you have until you have seen people at their best and you have seen them when times with you and them have been at your lowest. Because I'm telling you now, it's hard to judge the true character of any connection with any person. It is hard to judge how sweet, how nice a person is if you have never offended them. Don't tell me how rock solid your relationships and connections are until you have been offensive, until you have been offended. Until then, I don't want to hear it. And a lot of you are putting these connections on pedestals until folks get mad. And then, not only do they get upset, hear this, y'all got to pay attention to how people act and what they say when they upset. You ready? Because there are two people that rarely tell lies. You want to know who they are? Three people that rarely tell lies. You want to know who they are? A mad person, a drunk person, and a high person. If they mad, if they drunk, if they high, you're going to get a lot of valuable information. Well, I ain't going to talk about alcohol and weed tonight, but let's talk about this anger thing. Because this is what I've discovered. You can tell if people have been fake nice, quote unquote, genuine nice, by how they respond to you when they're upset with you. Because when people are upset with you, they will reveal the depths of their heart concerning you. Let me give you a verse I want you to remember. I don't care what your faith is. Out of the abundance of your heart, your mouth talks. Thank you, Barbara, for your support. And some of y'all have just been listening to people's mouths when their heart is soft for you. Let me help you. You need to listen to what people got to say when you piss them off. And this is why a lot of people, their quote unquote niceness has them empty. Because many of you are putting on a facade of niceness instead of just being true to who you. And let me just say this while I'm at it. This ain't even in my notes because I'm going to create a definition of niceness on the spot. I'll get to that in a minute. I ain't even doing it now. I'm copying and pasting the topic because I didn't have it down here with part two. Um, Many of you are creating a facade of niceness because you don't want to be perceived as mean. So what you then do is you act like you like things, you act like you like people, you act like you like situations, you act like you like all of these different things to go along to get along. And part of this is because you are people pleasing. We're going to talk about this in a second. I don't want to get too ahead of my notes. There are many reasons why people come off as being this fake nice, and it leaves them empty. But let me tell you something. You want to know where freedom is? Freedom lives in being comfortable being yourself, expressing how you feel, and not being offended by who gets offended. You want to know when you're healing and growing? When you don't get offended by who get offended. Nobody gets more worried about who gets offended than a people pleaser. Nobody gets more worried about who gets offended, who gets their feelings hurt than a people pleaser. And let me tell you something, when you live in that space, that's bondage. That space is bondage. You will live a bound life if you cannot be, free to think, free to have perspective, free to have whatever it is that represents who you are in the name of not offending somebody. And that's the problem with this culture. I'm just going to be honest with you. A lot of people are making it into mainstream. A lot of people are on some of your favorite shows, not because they're bright and brilliant, but because they're afraid to offend people. Let me tell you something. I don't like none of y'all. When it comes to the truth and right being right, wrong being wrong, I don't like nobody. Nobody. And when you speak from a place like that, it's intimidating. I don't care who's sitting in front of me on any kind of interview. If you ask me something, you better be very careful of what you ask because you're going to get exactly what you asked for. And this culture struggles with this. You know why? Because we don't want to offend nobody. We don't want to offend nobody. We don't want people's feelings to get hurt. We don't want people to feel some kind of way. We don't want people to feel like their voice is being heard. I had one of the most idiotic comments on a post that I put up this week about poor parenting, where I listed all of these occupations that are people centered and customer centered. And I said, if you any of these things and you don't take care of your kids, quit. I said what I meant. That was the nice version. Because it don't make sense to be a counselor and you helping kids, but you don't raise your own kids. It don't make sense to be a pastor and you out here saving kids, but you don't help your own kids. It don't make sense to be a teacher and you win a teacher of the year and all the students love you and the parents adore you, but your own kids never get no time with you. You should just quit. And if y'all don't believe me, go to my Facebook page and just read the comments. Somebody literally put on there, dude, you mean to tell me that giving kids clothes and giving kids food and shelter is not enough? It's gross. It. I don't know what it was because I couldn't tell by the emoji on their face name. Said you are gross. How dare you be so effing gross? Because parents are doing their jobs. If you think having a kid as a parent, your job is just to feed them and put some clothes on their back and put a roof over their head, and that's it. I would like for you to wake up from 1915 and welcome to the real world. I'm telling you, the bar is in hell when it comes to offense because people don't like to be offended. They hate the truth. And that post stung a whole lot of people. My grandma used to say, the only dogs that's hollering are hit ones. That post didn't offend nobody but a bad parent. Here's the sad part, this thing going, I wanted to say more. Like, we ought to call DSS on you. If you're a social worker and you don't take care of your kids, then we ought to call your own agency on you. I don't care who don't like it. So people have a bad connection with the truth and they don't like to be offended. And this shows with how people show up with this fake niceness. Now, let me give you a definition of what it means to be nice. I don't have a definition written down of what it means to be nice, but if you give me 30 seconds, I'll create one. Ain't gonna take long. Nice. Defined. Let's see. Well, niceness needs to consider things like kindness, consideration. Let me add respect here. It's got to be with self and others. It's got to include yes, self and others, and it's got to include values. So let's try this for a definition. I would define niceness as, let's see, DF for definition. Let's just do it on the spot. Shouldn't be too hard. DF. Um, a state of kindness, consideration, and respect for self and others to the extent by which your values are not compromised. That boy good. You want my definition of kindness? Nice to be nice? This is how I define the word nice. Record it. You're going to be the smartest person at the water cooler tomorrow. You ready? I define nice as a state of kindness, consideration, and respect for others and self. I'm sorry, let me get that right. A state of kindness, consideration, and respect for self and others to the extent by which your values are not compromised. That's the definition of nice. It is a state of kindness, consideration, and respect for self and others to the extent by which your values are not compromised. You ain't gonna find that in Webster. I just made that up. It's mine. Now let's look at this definition. This water is watering tonight. Good Lord. Woo. This water is watering. Let's look at this definition and break it down. To be nice, a state of kindness. We know what kindness is, consideration. I think consideration is one of the most undervalued elements of my definition of niceness. You know why? Because when you don't operate in consideration, most people think of consideration as only external. None of this is in my notes, y'all, but it's going to lead perfectly into what we're going to talk about tonight. Most people think of consideration as only being external. When you are told to be considerate, when you were taught in kindergarten to be considerate, you were taught to be considerate in the context of what? How you treated other people. Hey, Johnny. Hey, Susie. You need to be considerate. You need to be considerate of your little friends, talking about your classmates. You need to be considerate of your friends around you. And when you were told that, you need to be considerate, so you should share. Why do I need to share, Miss Davis? Because sharing means you're considerate. That implied that consideration was only external. Here's the problem. That part of consideration is a small fraction of what consideration needs to be when it comes to living in an authentically nice space. Consideration should first be internal. Consideration should first be internal and then external. Let a man, let's go spiritual real quick, or woman first examine who, not everybody else, but themselves. Watch this. Do unto others as you would have done to yourself. We use that golden rule phrase as a moniker to display consideration, but it's taught backwards. Watch. Do unto others as you would have others to do unto you. Well, we've been taught, hey, if you want people to be nice to you, then you need to be nice to them first. Well, here's the problem. I can be nice to people all day, but if I'm never nice to me, my niceness to other people is in vain. Y'all are missing this. The concept of doing unto others as you would have them do unto you only works, listen to me, if you are clear on what works for you. I'm going to say this slow. The concept of doing unto others as you would have them do unto you is a concept that only works if you are first clear on what works for you. If you're not clear on what works for you, it's impossible for you to do unto someone something you have not first identified for yourself. I just, good God. Is this making sense at all? If it is, type levels in the chat in all capital. Let's have a first class conversation. I need y'all to stop telling people do unto others as you have them do unto you, and you ain't even figured out how to be nice to yourself first. You ain't figured out how to talk nice to yourself, but you out here trying to talk nice to everybody else. You ain't figured out how to be kind to yourself, but you out here trying to be kind to everybody else. You ain't figured out how to be gentle with yourself, but you breaking your neck to be gentle with everybody else. And we've taught this backwards. You've never been taught the golden rule that way. You've always been taught the golden rule from the concept of it being external first. And the truth is, many of you can't be nice to other people because you ain't even nice to you. The truth is, many of you can't even love people. I like that because you don't even love you. So how the heck are you going to live by a rule that's golden to others when it ain't became golden to you first? What makes the rule golden? God, you talk about revelation. I can't cut it off. I'm tired, but I just can't cut it off. You know what makes the rule golden? Is that if my being nice is the gold that I'm giving to you, then my ability to give you gold suggests that I possess enough gold to be able to give. I feel like this is going over many of y'all's heads. I want to say this again slow. Have you ever thought about maybe the golden rule means that in my niceness towards you, I'm giving you gold, but I don't know nobody giving away gold who ain't got it to give, which means you can't give away niceness. You can't give away a niceness that you don't even fully possess yourself. So, for all of you that are being nice in the name of being a people pleaser, of being nice in the name of validation and you don't even treat yourself well, I'm here to tell you to your face, you are fake. Your kindness is not sincere. Your niceness is not genuine because you will never treat anybody better than your ability to treat yourself. Y'all, this is why I mean I love this definition I just made up on the spot. This is wild, like nasty work. But this is why I'm just be honest with you. If anybody says to me, they love me, they like me, whatever, they think so great of me, I say thank you because it's rude not to say thank you. Thank you, Miss Tammy. I appreciate you and your support always. This is why, if anybody is nice to me or has anything nice to say to me or about me, great. I receive it. I'm going to say thank you. But the extent to which I believe it has to first be observed by how they carry themselves towards themselves. Because, baby, if you don't like you, ain't no way you can love me. If you don't even treat you right, how in the heck? How in the heck you gonna be able to treat me right? Well, it's the golden rule, Doc. I can treat you not. Hold on. I can treat you nice, Doc, because it's the golden rule. The golden rule thing that I'm supposed to be doing to others as I would have them do unto me. So if I do nice unto you, then I'm gonna get that niceness back to me. No, you're not. Not if you ain't got it to give to your. Not if you don't have it to give in the first place. And some of y'all out here being nice to people in the name of a golden rule that you ain't got no gold in your own possession. You can't give away gold you don't have. I don't know if Coach Sean on here, but I hope you clip this golden rule explanation. Some of you will never see the golden rule again. Talking about something I'm doing it, operating the golden rule. No, let me tell you what the golden rule is. Doing unto others as you would have them do unto you means I can't give you a goal that I have not first possessed myself. That goal might be kindness. That goal might be gentleness. That goal might be respect. That goal might be being nice. Doesn't matter, whatever you give into a person, you cannot give anybody anything you don't first possess. And that includes gold. So when we think about a golden rule, what makes it golden is when I'm being nice to you, it is because I am first nice to me. And this is why you got a lot of broken people in mosques, synagogues, temples, churches, schools, homes. It don't matter because all they've been taught is just be nice to people and you're going to get it back. Meanwhile, you two steps away from not even wanting to live. And yet you breaking your neck trying to be nice and give to people an energy you ain't quite figured out how to give yourself. And I'm telling you, until you figure out how to give you what you want to everybody else, until you figure out how to give to you what you're trying to give to everybody else, there will be nothing golden about your behavior. I would even submit to you, this is why some of you are drained. I talked about this last week. Some of you are drained right now. You know why? Because you're breaking your neck trying to be nice to people and give people a niceness you ain't quite figured out how to give to yourself. You ain't nothing like a people pleaser who gives grace to everybody else, but they don't even give it to themselves. And then wonder why they stressed out. Why you always got headaches. Because you were taught give by people who probably have bank accounts that stay in the red. I don't know how much sense this is making. Is this making sense to anybody at all? Y'all support the show like it is. Is this making sense? Give, 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 give. And you ain't figured out how to give none of that to yourself. So, no, I appreciate the kind words and sentiments that people express. But the truth of your sentiment is going to be to the extent of how you give that same sentiment to yourself. And me personally, I don't like to wear fake jewelry. If you're going to live by the golden rule, it needs to be 14 karat. If you're going to live by the golden rule, it needs to be a real diamond, not cubic zirconium. Now, let me give you 3 threats to niceness. This is making sense. Y'all supporting the show? Thank you, Tracy Smith. I appreciate you. Thank you for your support. Y'all supporting the show? I need y'all support this if you want me to keep it up. I was telling somebody last week I'm gonna start taking these down. I have to. I have a choice. The direction my business is going, I'm gonna have to do this. The good news is I'm gonna start doing more YouTube content, more long form content, but I need you guys to support. It's just that simple. Let's talk about this. You want me to repeat the definition of nice? Won't that classic? Nice. A state of kindness, consideration, and respect for self and others to the extent by which your values are not compromised. Nice. A state of kindness, consideration, and respect for self and others to the extent by which your values are not compromised. That's the definition of nice. And you know what makes this definition so powerful? Guess who it puts first? You. It puts you first. Something you're not taught in the context of a golden rule. Thank you, Miss Antoinette. Awesome client of mine. So proud of you. We're not taught this because we're not taught that the golden rule has to require us to put us first. Let's talk about 3 threats to niceness. Let's get to some good stuff. If this is helping you, I want you to type levels in the chat. And I need you to hit the share button. I need everybody watching tonight. We're right around, that's 300. We're right around 350 people watching, which is very low for us. I need everybody to hit the share button. I'm running out of space on my little desk. I'm going to have to get a bigger desk. Let's talk about 3 threats to niceness. Let's talk about 3 threats to authentic niceness. I know we said it's an oxymoron. Let's talk about 3 threats to authentic niceness. Okay? Number 1, threat number 1, the big one. This is going to hit, threat number 1 is going to hit about 70% of you. The number 1 threat to authentic niceness is what I call the people pleasing trap. To put it simple, it's those of you that struggle with people pleasing. What's the people pleasing trap? It's a simple thing. The people pleasing trap is a survival skill from childhood wounds or past dysfunction that teaches us that our safety depends on being agreeable. Let me give that to y'all again. The people pleasing trap is a survival skill from childhood wounds or past dysfunction that teaches us that our safety depends on being agreeable. Yeah, this is heavier than what y'all giving me credit. This is why I'm about to scale. The stuff y'all get on Thursday for free, Most of y'all don't get in a year's worth of therapy. I'm not making this up. This is what people tell me. Let me give this to y'all again. The people pleasing trap, what I call the people pleasing trap, it is a survival skill from childhood wounds or past dysfunction that teaches you teaches you that your safety depends on being agreeable. Anytime you feel like your safety is connected to being agreeable, not rocking the boat, not shaking the boat, not being true to your attitudes, beliefs, perspectives, and principles, but instead to focus always on being agreeable, you will end up in this trap in order to survive that reflects wounds from your childhood or past dysfunction. Y'all need me to give it to you again? The people pleasing trap is a survival skill from childhood wounds or past dysfunction that teaches us that our safety depends on being agreeable. You ready for me to go further? Let's go further. You know what the implications of this is? One of the implications of this is that if we find ourselves tapping into this survival skill from childhood wounds or past dysfunction that has taught us that our safety depends on being agreeable, we end up becoming emotionally responsible for other people's comfort. Here's an easy way to figure out if you're a people pleaser. Two easy ways to figure out if you're a people pleaser. Number one, are you a person that has to be or likes to be agreeable? Now, hey, you got to answer these questions in honesty. What's self awareness? Put in the corner of your paper the definition of self awareness: honesty about who you are, where you are, and what you're doing. So you can't even answer these two questions to determine whether or not you're a people pleaser if you're not going to be honest. I had to look a client in the face today. I love her. She's a sweetheart. But I had to say to her face, baby, the next time I see you, I need you to give me some honest, self-aware answers because we have not talked from a self-aware space today. All you've done is regurgitate what I said to you. And I know how I sound. I don't need you to say back to me what I say to you. I need you to not only understand what's going on, I need you to be honest about what's going on. Self awareness is honesty about who you are, where you are, and what you're doing. You want to know if you're a people pleaser? Two ways to know. One, are you a person that's agreeable? I'm talking about I'm talking about just agreeable on just obsessive levels. Are you a person that's always agreeable? Are you a person that carries consciously, meaning aware? Okay, because some of you are saying yes, some of you are saying no. Good. So, what about the second thing? This is just two easy, quick, fast, and dirty things. You know, there are tests out here you can take. I'm giving you the test in two questions. Are you a person that's agreeable? Incessively agreeable? Agreeable to the point where you said before y'all will say, nah, Doc, I'm not agreeable. To the point where you will compromise your values in the name of making other people comfortable. Now I'm gonna tell you this. Thank you, Kristen. I appreciate you because I don't think many of you are being honest. Some of y'all are saying, no, I'm not agreeable. Many of y'all are more agreeable than what you admit. If you order food and your food ain't right, but you just eat it anyway, that's being agreeable. This microphone on. If you sit in meetings at work and your supervisor says something that is not ethical or that's crazy, and you don't speak up for fear of things like losing your job, if you don't speak up and you abort your attitudes, beliefs, perspectives, and principles, all in the name of a supervisor who has a little bit of rank and authority, you're being agreeable. You're a people pleaser. Now I hear you, Naomi. Naomi saying, Naomi, are you saying you ain't gonna take it back or you just not gonna eat it? Because some of y'all like to get slick with it. Well, Doc, if they order my food and bring my food out and I don't like it, I ain't gonna send it back. I'm just not gonna eat. I'm gonna leave it on the table. Well, I think that is still a very subtle form of people pleasing. It is people pleasing by omission. See, we got to get real specific here. Thank you, Miss Naomi. We got to get real specific here with some of y'all. So are you agreeable? Overly agreeable? Second question. This is the one are you emotionally responsible for other people? What do I mean by emotionally responsible? Do you consciously or subconsciously carry emotional responsibility for other people's comfort? Are you and some of you saying, well, Doc, I still don't understand what you're saying. Let me give you an example. Do you hold your tongue? Did you hold your tongue over the Thanksgiving holiday when your loudmouth aunt, who ain't never got no self-control, started talking reckless, but your mama or your daddy or your sibling warned you before Thanksgiving dinner? Hey, baby, I don't need you to respond to your aunt. Your aunt's your aunt. Your aunt just does what she does. That's how she acts. We all know who how your aunt is. And so just don't go back and forth with her. And so you allow your loudmouth aunt or your cackling uncle to just pop up and say whatever they want to say. And you didn't respond because you felt emotionally responsible for the comfort of the person who told you to keep quiet. If you did that, you're a people pleaser. And some of you have never been taught people pleasing like this. Watch this. Because of me, you had to spend it alone. Why am I? Wait a minute. Why y'all blame? Why y'all blaming Doc for having to spend people pleasing alone? Great question, Ms. Tammany. Do you need to answer yes to all of these to qualify as a people? Not necessarily yes to all, but I think if you say yes to at least one of them, yeah, you've got people pleasing tendencies. Yes to all, I think it's just a triple. It just doubles down on your being a people pleaser. But I don't think it has to necessarily be a yes to all. But let me, for all you ladies, let me make y'all mad because there's a whole lot more ladies, well, on the call than is men. One of my goals in 2026 is to get more men involved. I saw Brother Colin earlier. O'Neill's always tunes in. There are a lot of men that tune in. And sometimes I can't tell by your profile picture if you've got bikes or houses up. I don't know who you are. But I do want to get more men involved in this work because when you save a man, you save a family. You save a whole family. You save a generation. Women, y'all special, but when you save a man, you save a generation. Different word for a different day. You said don't be people pleasing because of the holiday. Oh, my bad. You kicked that. Oh my goodness, Nahum. Well, hopefully it wasn't your family you kicked out. You figured out a way to work with them. Oh, now if you kicked out your roster, that's a different conversation. But your family, hopefully, you didn't kick them out. Let me just say this though, especially to you ladies. Ladies, guess what another form of people pleasing is? Now, some of y'all gonna try to lock this to say, no, Doc, I just gotta be safe. I get it. There are some idiotic men out here that when they get rejected, they go left. They just called you fine. I see this all the time. I used to see it in the mall. I don't really go to the mall a lot anymore. Doc ain't trying to get shot. But I would see it at the mall all the time. Dude, just a woman walks by, he tell me how fine she is, and then when he try to talk to her, she say no, and then he start cussing her out. You just called her fine, bro. But let me show y'all how many more people pleasers we got on here. If a man has asked you for his number and you didn't really like him, you weren't interested, and you didn't feel like your safety was threatened, because there's always going to be one somewhere. There's always going to be one somewhere. But he asked you for your number. You didn't feel like your safety was threatened. You just weren't interested. He was really nice. If you gave him your Instagram, guess what that is? Being emotionally responsible for other people's comfort. For all of you passing out your Instagram instead of giving out your number because you don't want to hurt somebody's feelings, that's called being emotionally responsible for other people's comfort. You're a people pleaser. Congratulations. See, I told you, we got a whole lot of people pleasers on the line. I know I got you, Naomi. I got a whole lot of y'all. Your DMs filled with people you done met on cruises, trips, whatever vacations, filled with people you will never respond to. You know why? Because you didn't have the courage to say, no, I'm not really interested. I don't want to give my number. I'm not really interested like that. Again, not talking about people. I'm not talking about people where your safety was threatened. I'm not talking about none of that. But a whole lot of y'all are doing it. You're giving away your Instagram and don't even realize you are holding emotional responsibility. You are holding conscious, emotional, and subconscious, but mainly conscious, emotional responsibility for other people's comfort. And if you block them, Naomi, that's worse. What's the point of saying yes and giving them your IG and giving false hope when you're going to turn around and block? Y'all don't want to have this conversation tonight. Well, Doc, I don't respond. I block them. I give out fake numbers. All emotional responsibility for other people's comfort. Well, I don't want to let nobody down. I don't want to hurt nobody's feelings. I don't know what it's like to have feelings hurt. We all do. But you can't tell me you are in a secure place if you've never experienced hurt feelings. I don't trust nobody who claim to have a secure attachment style, but they can't describe to me how they bounce back from having their feelings hurt. You know why? Because you make me nervous. If you think you're secure and I know I'm secure and I have to hurt you one day, I'm going to be mindful of the fact that you've never experienced that. And that alone is going to make me look at you twice. Now, Naomi's really trying to. I can't. Naomi, you are on one tonight, but I love it. Naomi says the male ego is fragile. There's a lot of guys that with fragile male egos. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Because a lot of times men do this stuff. A man will, because there's some symptoms of people pleasing too. There are more symptoms. Like, record this, record this. Let me give y'all three easy symptoms. There are many more, but let me give you three easy ones. Like saying something is okay when it's not. You know what a lot of weak men will do? They'll say something is cool when it ain't. A man that is not secure will go with the flow. He don't want to. He don't want to ruffle anybody's feathers. He don't want to rock the boat. And especially if he thinks he likes a woman, he won't just say, yeah, I don't want to meet for coffee. I'd rather us go to dinner. But I don't want to do no dinner date. I got to meet my man on coffee. I got my first date got to have flowers. Bro, if you don't want to give her flowers because you don't know her, it's okay to say that. Thank you, Camille. Appreciate you. But you know what a weak man who has a fragile ego will do? He'll go with the flow. He'll go with something that's and call it okay when it's not. But let me be very clear here. Y'all ready? A lot of women have fragile egos too. And I can be honest with you from the perspective of a healed, secure man. Can I tell you what I've discovered? Women aren't as great with rejection as they think they are. I know. I'm going to lose half of y'all. I know. But see, I reminded a client today, this is why it's going to be hard for me to break through on some of these major platforms. I got to just create my own because I don't like men. I don't like women. I don't like nobody. I like the truth. Men can never accuse me of pandering because I jump on women. And women can never accuse me of being whatever that word is that don't like women. Who hurt him? Can't say that because I get men too. Women don't do well with rejection. They don't. And a lot of women, I hate to put this to you, but a lot of women have missed out on great opportunities with solid men because of the fear of rejection. You would rather not express interest and not worry about having to get rejected than to express interest and take the risk that he might not be interested. And you got to live with the fact that what you want don't want you. And women tend to struggle with that more than secure men. So a secure man will get rejected and keep on going. Y'all think Doc ain't been rejected before? Hmm. One of the things you have to understand about Doc is a tried and true nerd. Success doesn't cover up what you really are. It just really just puts what you really are on showcase. It puts it on display. Success just puts what you really are on display. I was a nerd before y'all knew me. I'm an even greater nerd now. And if you are ever around me, you will notice that Doc's a little quiet. He's an ambivert for real. He's an extrovert when it comes to work. He's an introvert when you know him personally, but he's a tried and true nerd. He loves intellectual conversation, a sapiosexual at heart. Success just heightens what you really are. But you think Doc ain't been rejected? Yeah. There's some crazy women out here. Sure. But a secure man does not take rejection personal. A man with a fragile ego does. And a secure woman does not take rejection personal. Thank you, Carolyn. That comment really means a lot. You should be teaching in universities. Our next generation needs you. I have a university background. I would love to do that. Thank you so much. That means a lot to me. And women, y'all don't do that well with rejection. In fact, I would venture to say that based on things that I've seen with clients, even to an extent experience, that a woman can even claim to be secure until she gets rejected, and then you see their true color every time. And either they truly are secure like they claim to be, or everything completely falls apart. And a secure man can even sense this. A secure woman can sense an inability for a man to take rejection as well. You can sniff it like a dog can sniff fear. So, saying it's okay, something is okay when it isn't. That's a symptom of people pleasing. Here's another symptom of people pleasing. When you walk around feeling anxious when somebody might be upset with you. If you're one of those people who walk, I wanted to really get on into this last week, but I didn't have time. Like I already have the next 2 weeks of this mapped out because I think we're going to be doing this 2 more weeks or at least 1 more week. If you're one of those people that walk around anxious thinking somebody might be upset with you, you're absolutely a people pleaser. Some of you, your anxiety really reveals your people pleasing because this anxiety is really pseudo or false anxiety, which means it's created from a fake space. It's created on realities that you created in your mind that don't exist in real life. That's for all of you that think people mad with you and they don't even look, they don't even know you. They don't even know you. How can a person that don't know you be mad at you? That's your anxiety talking. And some of y'all know what I'm talking about because some of you have had people mad at you that you didn't even know. You barely knew or you didn't know at all. How the heck can I be upset with somebody I don't know? That's because when you don't have your anxiety under control, when you don't have your anxiety under control, your emotions start telling your thoughts how to think instead of your thoughts telling your emotions how to feel, and you will literally be all over the place. The old folks, my grandma and them used to say something, this real country. Them folk ain't studying you. If you're not from the country, you don't even know what I'm talking about. Most of the people y'all think studying you ain't thinking about you. But the reason why you are so convinced is because your anxiety has you feeling like people might be upset with you. And that is because at your core, you're a people pleaser. It's the truth. Man, I ain't never ran out of a bottle of Serotonin. I might have to get up and go get another bottle. What's going on? I don't think I drank enough water today. Good Lord. We'll talk about getting out of people pleasing. We'll certainly get to that. We'll get to that. I don't know if we'll get to that tonight, but we'll definitely get to that in Lewis 14. Thank you for that question. Here's the third sign of people pleasing. You ready? Apologizing what I call reflexively. If you apologize reflexively, REFLEXIV, as in victory, ELY, reflexes, reflexively. If you apologize reflexively, you're absolutely a people pleaser. What is reflexive apologizing? You ever gone and got a physical? You ever gone and got a physical and they hit your knee and your knee just bounces up without even thinking? They take that thing and they pop your knee and they pop your arm and your arm pops up, but you don't do it. It just pops, just jumps by itself. If you apologize like that, every other word out of your mouth is sorry. Sorry. I'm so sorry. Sorry. I'm so sorry. Sorry. Oh my God. So I had to get on my kids about this. My kids are sweet kids. The sweet kid. Now, they don't like to lose. They got that on us. They don't like to lose. And I'm working with them and working on them on how to manage losing. I love the fact there are a lot of problems I could have out of my kids that other people have with theirs that I don't have with mine. I will take having two kids that don't like to lose. They don't like losing. They don't come from the school of everybody's a winner. I taught them that when they was 4 or 5 years old. And they was getting them little plastic YMCA trophies just because they was there. And folks were showing up at kindergarten graduations with 50 balloons, 3 cakes, and a whole media crew for kindergarten. I was teaching them then that you just did what you were supposed to do. So my kids don't like to lose. And I had to get on them because they're sweet kids. And they used to always do this thing where, like, let's just say I would just be sitting in there working or something. And maybe Giselle's behind me going in the refrigerator because she's good for going in there getting grapes. Lord, these kids can eat. Going in there getting grapes, right? And the refrigerator door is behind the seat where I sit. If you're a client, you know I sit at an island when I'm doing my calls most times. Sometimes I sit here. A lot of times I sit there because it's very comfortable in there. My little TV's in there, things like that. Um, and so she might come behind me while I'm working and open the refrigerator, and I didn't see her for whatever reason. Because sometimes I'm locked in, she just walks by, she might kiss me on my cheek or put her arm around me, something like that. I don't know then. But other times she just may come around this way, come back way, and I see her, and she go in the refrigerator. And so she opens the refrigerator, and then I just happen to back, and I don't see her right there. She'd be like, oh, sorry. Giselle, you have to apologize. I didn't know you were there. And you didn't know I was going to back my seat out. That's reflexive apologizing. It's apologizing so much that it becomes second nature. And let me tell you something, people who are reflexive apologizers are people pleasers. If you always quick to say sorry, I'm so sorry, oh my God, sorry, and you apologize for every little nook and crook, cranny that occurs, people pleasing. I know you've never been taught that. No, doc, that's being nice. That's being considerate. No, let me tell you why it's not. Because reflective apologizing will have you eventually apologizing for stuff that you didn't even do. I'm gonna say it slow. Reflective apologizing will have you apologizing for stuff you really didn't do. One of the best lessons one of my supervisors and managers gave me in one of my previous jobs, I'll never forget her for this. She's a good friend. Gave me a great lesson on this. I was in a meeting one time, it's a high level meeting, and something that went wrong with an area that was under my purview. It wasn't under my direct supervision, but was under my purview. And they goofed up in that space and did something off, and they were talking about it. And then me and my boss, this lady, and some other people, we had a meeting when this thing was over, and that situation came up. And I opened my mouth and said, "Hey, I just want to apologize for that happening." And my boss looked at me and said, "Zeb," this was Zeb at the time, hadn't finished my PhD. Said, "Zeb." I said, "Yes." Said, "What are you apologizing for?" I said, "Because I mean that happened in my purview." I said, "Did you do it?" She said, "Did you do it?" I said, "No." She said, "Were you responsible for it?" I said, "No." She said, "Did it happen under your watch and care?" She said, "No." She said, "Zeb, never apologize for something you didn't do." Now, to apologize for how a person feels, that's something totally different. But to apologize for something you didn't do, and to not just do it once. I can see if you've done this once or twice in your life, but some of y'all do this regularly. And it is so reflexive, it could be at the smallest things. You at the buffet line at Golden Corral, and you going towards to get the plates. It ain't but one left, and you grab a plate and don't see another person trying to grab it. You turn around and see they were coming for that plate. What do you say? I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. What you sorry for? You beat them to the plate. You better hit that big back music and go right on over there to that fried chicken. Reflexive apologizers are people pleasers. I don't think this applies to saying thank you a lot. That's a great question, Kia. I don't think this applies to saying thank you a lot. I think thank you speaks to one of our favorite words, and that is gratitude. That the extent to which you are willing to say thank you for any deed, large or small, is a reflection of pure gratitude. And I think thank you is one of those words you can never oversay. Does that make sense? But this reflective apologizer, y'all got to stop. Second threat to authentic niceness. Are y'all supporting the show? I need you to support the show. Let's talk about a second threat to authentic niceness. First one is people pleasing, what I call the people pleasing trap. A second threat to authentic niceness is misplaced priorities. Misplaced priorities. People who have priorities that have been misplaced or priorities that are not aligned with what matters most are absolutely people who live in a space of reaction more than they do intention. Do you live more in a space of reaction or a space of intention? In other words, when events and things happen in your life, are you more likely to react to them, i.e., your emotions lead your thoughts and not your thoughts leading your emotions? Or are you more likely to respond with a place of intention? I might emotionally feel a certain way, but I have the emotional maturity to calm my emotions for a second in order to think logically through a situation so that whatever I decide to do or whatever my behavior is, it ain't accidental or emotional, it's intentional. Right? I talk about this, and I think it is don't make it happen, let it go. Which, by the way, if you don't have a copy of that, get a copy right away. They're flying off the shelf. 5 areas, all of that stuff, the work, all of that stuff flying off the shelf. Well, get a copy if you don't have one. But I think I talk about this in the book where I say that when we allow our emotions to lead our thoughts, we are reacting. When we allow our thoughts to lead our emotions, we are responding. And a response is more clear minded than a reaction. And I want to say this to you, you're going to know you are in a healed space when it doesn't matter what the matter is. I told y'all the story about this restaurant, local restaurant, I really believe was trying to put stuff in our food on purpose. And it got in my son's food, and I had to sit there and count down from 30 to 0 slow. So I didn't pull a Radio Raheem and go around that counter. And some of you got to do more healing work because you can control your emotions up to and including but certain things. You good if folk talk about you. You good if folk talk about where you live. But Lord, if we talk about your mama, you lose emotional control. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Or if we talk about your kids that you barely raising yourself, if we talk about your kids that you barely raising yourself, you lose all emotional control. I told a client once, it's a true story. I told a client once who was getting worked up and mad because she couldn't file her child on her income taxes because the child's father was keeping that child more than her and he wouldn't let her file them. He had dominant custody. She barely saw the child, but when it was tax time, she wanted to file her. And I told her, you have the audacity to get upset about not only that man filing that child, you would even have the audacity to get upset about anybody talking about your child. You don't even raise your own kid. So a whole lot of y'all be showing off in the name of your kids, but you ain't taking care of them. And if you are taking care of them, even if you are taking care of them, there is a level of maturity that comes with not allowing anybody or anything to cause you to react more than you respond. I love my kids to death. If you know me, you know I don't play about my kids. I had to be in two places at one time tonight. If you know me, I don't play about my kids. But let me tell you something. In that moment where that stuff was in my son's food, as much as I wanted to grab that dude and choke him out, I had to remember something. Hey, dude, if you lose control, you ain't a hero. You're a part of the problem that you have now just created with for your kids for you having to go away for a while. Now I know not not me Doc, when it come to my not me Doc, when it come to my kids Doc, I ain't just, I just I can't let anybody think anything about my kids Doc because I go in for mines. I go in for mines. I ride for mines. I ain't never known mine to have an S on the end. I ride for mines. You can talk about my mama. You can talk about my husband. You can talk about my boyfriend. You can talk about my sister. You can talk about my sister. You can talk about my brother, my sister, but not my kids, because I go in for mine. And meanwhile, while you out here proving like you bad, you done lost all emotional control, and you made the situation for those kids you take care of worse. Ain't nothing honorable about that. And you can't tell me I love my kids less because I count the cost of reacting versus responding. There's a cost that comes with it. I remember, I don't know if I told y'all this story. That was at one of my son's basketball games. And my son's team was giving it to this other team, giving it to this team. And this team had never been beat. And two of the parents in the crowd got into it. One parent from one team, one parent from our team. And then the parent from our team, he calmed down. He got over it. So the parent from that team got into it with the director that oversees the basketball program. And they going back and forth. And the director that oversees the program forgot that he was there working the event. He's going back and forth. Next thing I know, the director goes outside to the bed. This is a true story. The director goes outside to the bathroom. And that parent sees him going to the bathroom outside the gym and gets up. Another man comes with him and go outside. And they end up in the hallway outside fighting. And here's the gag. You didn't grab the dude, walked outside to confront this man, and that man dragged you outside. That's why it don't pay to walk. That's why it don't pay to chase people that walk away. I know all y'all running your mouth, you big bad, big scrappy, little scrappy, big scrappy. You running your mouth. You all that. What you gonna do to people? Let me tell you something. Them people ain't never scared me. You want to know who some of the best fighters I've ever seen? It's the ones that walk away and they ain't saying much. So literally, yep, you remember that story, Caitlin? So literally, they're out there, and some of us are looking, but my son is out there. He's playing. I got my daughter next to me, and this guy standing behind me said, "Hey, yo, bro. Hey, yo, bro. You, I see you looking out there. Are you gonna go out there and help him, right?" I said, "No, man. Why you ain't gonna go out there and help him, man? What's wrong with you?" I said, "I got two kids. One of them is sitting next to me, and the other one's out there on the court. And bro, I don't know who you are, but from the looks of that question, you clearly ain't got nothing to lose. We not the same." Now I started to be real ignorant and say, "Google me," but I didn't. People ignorant. So no, when you don't have healthy priorities, you will live in reaction instead of intention. Other people's emergencies, y'all write this down, become your schedule. Other people's emergencies become your schedule. Not your priorities, your schedule. In other words, folks have emergencies and you stop heaven and earth to help them and save them. And it's funny. You could be nice and a nice guy and occasionally help a person, and people will literally take that as you being gullible, having no boundaries when they don't even know the full context. As nice as Doc is, y'all want to know some breaking news about Doc that's going to probably shock you? I say no way more than I say yes. What, Doc? Mr. Healed himself? Mr. 5 years of healing? You be telling people no all the time. And that's because many of you have a false perspective of what it means to be nice. You think being nice means you can never say no. Oh, no, baby. I'm good at no. No, no in Spanish. No in English. No in Spanish. Nah in street. I can say it in different languages and dialects. No, ne, nah, nada. Ni in multiple dialects. Barbara said, in Destiny's Child. No, 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 no. Right. In street, H no. I can say it in that too. All right? Other people's emergencies when you have misplaced priorities become your schedule. You sacrifice. This is a big one. Record this. We're talking about threats to authentic niceness, y'all. You sacrifice personal goals to keep other people comfortable. Let me go ahead and get some of y'all right here. You sacrifice personal goals to keep other people comfortable. What does that mean? Well, how fitting we're at the holidays. And some of y'all barely paying your bills and really need to take this Christmas bonus you're going to get and get a little bit ahead on your bills. But then you connected to people who feel like just because it's Christmas, they ought to have a gift. Who feel like just because it's Christmas, you ought to be doing something for them. Hey, y'all, on Instagram, get the numbers up on Instagram. The numbers are low everywhere tonight. I think we only have like 350 people on tonight. It's really low. We're typically in the 700 range. Instagram, y'all share the video. This is Christmas time, and many of y'all are going to bend over backwards trying to appease people so they still like you or still want to have something to do with you. And meanwhile, your credit score, you could take that little $5,000 and pay your bills off and put 20 points on your credit score. Let me tell y'all, when you do stuff and sacrifice personal goals to keep other people comfortable, you have incredibly poor priorities. Incredibly poor priorities. And this is especially important when it comes to your mental needs, emotional needs, and financial needs. If I had to break down the 5 areas of healing and tell you where I've seen this the most in my work, it typically shows up in mental space, emotional space, and financial space. Let me tell you something. I'm not about to go broke to financially appease nobody. The greatest chime that I get on my phone is not the text message chime. The greatest chime that I get on my phone is not when my phone rings. You want to know what chime my favorite chime is on my phone? My favorite, there are two favorite chimes that I have on my phone. Number one, when I get an order. That's number one. There's a chime when I get an order, but let me take that back. That's actually number two. That's number two. Nope, it ain't Cash App. It ain't Cash App. It's not direct deposit. Number two is when I get an order. Somebody's ordered a book or somebody's investing into my work. It's a blessing when I get that chime. I don't be like, oh my God, it hitting the Birdman hands. No, that's a blessing to me because it says that my work is reaching someone. But that's number two. You know what number one is? You know what my favorite chime is? When I get that note, I even set a special chime for this particular app. And where my other phone at? I set a particular chime for this app here. Hold on. Oh, I'm in Do Not Disturb. I might not be able to see it. Yes, I can. I can see. I got a chime today around 10:46. It came from Experian. Experian. When that Experian alert hit my phone, and that Experian alert be like, your credit score went up 6 points. Congratulations. You've been approved for 12 more cards. Congratulations. Here's a loan that you have been pre approved for. No application needed. We just need your information for X amount of dollars. All from Experian. Oh, something comes over me. You know what I ain't going to do? I'm not going to sacrifice my personal goals to keep other people comfortable, mentally, emotionally, or financially. I'm not doing it. And this is why I feel bad for some of you that are successful in your careers. Some of us that are successful in our careers. You know why? because it's going to be hard to meet a person who authentically and genuinely likes you for you. If I could give my 21-year-old self some advice, here's some advice I would give to him. Find somebody who shares your values at 21, who's not a quitter, who is disciplined, who understands their why, and build with them at 21. Because if you build and grow with them from 21, by the time you get to your 40s and you've made it and you've been established, then all of a sudden you will be able to look around and notice that the people around you are people that not only have great priorities, but people that are there for you. But when you already got something and you got something at 30, you got something at 40, but you ain't got nobody, it's hard to tell why people show up. Sometimes my number one response when people show up is not, "Hey, how you doing? Oh my God, it's so good to see you. Oh my God, I'm so honored. It is so nice meeting you." You know what my number one response is sometimes? Who sent you? Who sent you? Where you come from? It's a shame. Many of us are in that cynical space. You know why? Because this can happen when you have built things on your own, but people come around and they don't have the right priorities. And if you don't have the right priorities, you will drain your personal goals to try to equip and appease people mentally, emotionally, and financially. No. Ladies, if you already got something, you meet a man that's interested, find out if he likes the version of you, if he would like the version of you that lost everything tomorrow. Uh-oh. Then why aren't you gonna be there? Yeah, I'm gonna be in Atlanta on the 14th. Get your ticket. Hurry up. It's only like 30, I think like 30, 35 of them left. Hurry up and get a ticket and bring 5 of your friends. Do it. Come on, Dan. Let's do it. Everybody tell Dan to go buy a ticket to Atlanta. I'd love to see you there. Last stop of the 25 version. I'm serious. We be asking the wrong questions of people. Y'all be asking, y'all, let me tell you that, I know we. Y'all be asking the wrong questions of people. You better find out what people are going to be to you if you lose everything you have. And that way, you know you won't have to sacrifice your personal goals to make them comfortable. I want you to remember this. Y'all ready? Your priorities reveal your values. Your exhaustion reveals your misalignment. That was salad worthy. I don't know. Y'all not supporting this show and this live coming down. Y'all think I'm playing tonight. But I'm just gonna have to prove it to y'all. I love y'all. It ain't personal. Doc gotta grow just like you gotta grow. Your priorities reveal your values. Your exhaustion reveals your misalignment. Your priorities reveal your values. We can look at your priorities, and I don't even have to know your values list. And I can just look at what you make important, what you put first, what you put second, what you put whatever last, whatever order. I can look at your priorities and figure out what your values are. I can also look at your exhaustion. And if you always tired, always exhausted, always drained, you got a lack of alignment somewhere. This thing hit me like a sack of bricks. I've been real tired the last couple of weeks. Real tired. A lot going on. This is a very busy time of the year, and a big part of me chalks it up to that. This is a very busy part of the year for me. This is typically when my calendar goes live for the second time in a year. It typically only goes live twice, at the most 3 times. It might actually go live 3 times next year. This was a decent sized class. I've had bigger classes, but this was a decent sized class that came through, that signed up last weekend. But this thing hit me like a sack of bricks. Yeah, I've been busy the last 2 months for sure. Like, it's been excruciating. But I had to be honest with myself and say, maybe some of this exhaustion is coming from a lack of alignment. What I say, what I do, what I believe, don't agree. Had a friend that even corrected me on something. I posted something on my story. She sent me a note, said, you don't say that. You don't say you'll never this, you'll never that. That's not how you talk. There's power of the power of life and death is connected to the words you say. That was a great reminder. And then it had me think, well, maybe some of this exhaustion is because somewhere I'm not really aligned, not in my life, but in my work. That I really, something's off that's causing me to feel fatigued, not tired of my work, but just tired. Let me tell you something. Your priorities reveal your values, but if you overly exhausted, there's some a lack of alignment somewhere. I can guarantee it. Okay. Let me give you the third thread of authentic niceness and let you go. All right. I got 11:02. I plan to be finished at 11, but it ain't going. It's not gonna work. The negative perception of no is the third authentic threat or third threat to authentic niceness. What I call the negative perception of no. And this is really easy to understand. Thank you, Leanne. It's so good to see you. I appreciate you. Can't wait to see you guys really soon. The negative perception of no. What's the negative perception of no? It's for those of you that believe no equals things like rejection. All right. So if you say no to somebody, they're going to perceive you as rejecting them. So you don't say no, you say yes, or you go with the flow in order for them to not feel rejected. That's a threat to authentic niceness. Or believing that no equals conflict. Some of you are so conflict driven because of your past trauma and dysfunction. Y'all ever met people who always are on edge for conflict? They go from 0 to 100 at least 6 times a day. You can't take them in a restaurant. If a cashier comes out and the cashier brings out the wrong drink order to them, they go off. Are you stupid? Are you slow? What's wrong with you? Them kind of people. A lot of people have a negative perception of no, and they think no equals conflict. And it doesn't always equal conflict. It doesn't. Many people think no equals disappointment. If I say no, I'm going to disappoint them. Well, if you say yes, you're going to disappoint you. So you got to choose between a no that disappoints them and a yes that disappoints you. Did y'all write that down? You have to choose between a no that disappoints them or a yes that disappoints you. And this is where some of your misalignment is for some of you. Some of you are struggling in the space of alignment because you putting a whole lot of no's, a lot of yeses in spaces that you should be putting a lot of no's. Some of you, your negative perception of no is connected to disappointment, right? Conflict, rejection. When you recognize this, then you will realize if I'm talking to you and you have this negative perception of no, and it's impacting your ability to be nice in a sincere way, which is leaving you empty, you can't be surprised at how these things will cause you to say yes even when your piece is drained. And if you're saying yes to stuff when your piece is drained, then your niceness is going to leave you empty. I'm going to say that again slow. If you're saying yes to things that leave you drained, your niceness will leave you empty. Record it. If you're saying yes to things that leave you drained, if you're saying yes to things that leave you drained, your nice will leave you empty. If you are saying yes The things that leave you drained. Your niceness will leave you empty. Thank you, Alondra. I appreciate your kindness. Thank you so much. That was really nice. Just dropping by to say your videos are amazing. I appreciate you, sweetheart. Thank you. And that's why some of you are drained. Last thing I'm going to leave y'all with, and I'll pick up from here next week with part 3. Let me make a note here. Heal people understand the following. I want to give you that 4 things that heal people understand about the word no. And I'm going to wrap this up. Much longer than what I wanted to be tonight, but this was good, I hope, to you. Appreciate you, Jessica. Thank you. What's next Thursday? The 11th. 12, 11. Here's 4 things that heal people understand about the word no. No is protection. No is protection. Number 2, no is clarity. No is clarity. So no protects you. 1, 2, no gives you clarity. 3, no equals stewardship. This is an interesting one. No equals stewardship. No is a reflection of how you steward your life or manage your life. How responsible are you with your life? Most people don't look at no as stewardship. That's a complete mind um, set shift when it comes to the word no. You do realize that when you use no effectively, you're properly managing your life. Most people don't understand that no and using no properly is really a technique to manage or steward your life. Isn't that powerful? And number 4, no is a spiritual boundary that keeps you aligned. No is a spiritual boundary that keeps you aligned. Healed people understand that no is protection, no is clarity, no is stewardship, and no is a spiritual boundary. Because sometimes you have to use no to protect you from things you see. Here we go. And things you don't see. To protect you from things that you understand and to protect you from things you don't understand. To protect you from things that are obvious and to protect you from things that are behind the scenes. And that's what makes no a spiritual matter, which is why you should pray. Because if you pray for real, every prayer you pray ain't going to get the answer yes. Sometimes you're going to get prayers where the answer is no, or the answer is nothing, which means you ain't supposed to do nothing but wait. Why is that important? Because then you recognize that through practical spiritual exercises like prayer and meditation, you recognize that you get more aligned in your life when you have a sense of spiritual resolve about things, situations, whatever that you want to do. No is protection. No is clarity. No is stewardship. And no is a spiritual boundary. And until you learn how to use no in those ways, you're going to struggle on your healing journey. I'm telling you, I can say no 50 different ways. It's almost like eating noodles when you was in college. When you was in college, we knew how to eat noodles all kind of ways. You could fry noodles, souffle them, you chop up chicken tenders in them, you, I had friends that put cheese on them, which I think is pretty gross in hindsight, but whatever. When you're a college kid and you broke, you ain't had nothing else to eat. Uh, you can make noodles 100 different ways. Let me tell you something. When you can say no 50, 100 different ways, it frees your life. Why? Because no creates protection, no creates clarity, no creates stewardship. It helps you manage your life. And no is a spiritual boundary that keeps you bound or aligned. No keeps you out of soul ties. No keeps you from running back to people who mean you more harm than they do good. No keeps you from being led in directions of relationships and connections with your feelings instead of with your logic and your thoughts. No keeps people from fooling you and making a fool out of you. This makes sense? Our numbers were real low tonight. I don't know where everybody is, but it don't matter. I'm gonna be here. This makes sense? Was this helpful? So next week, I will pick up with part three. I need you all to support the show. If you want me to lead this live up, it is critical that you support. You have 18 minutes to support. Um, I'll pick up with part three on. I'll pick up with part three on next week, and we will start here because next week I want to get into. Where is my stuff? I want to get into how to rebuild. I think part three is going to be the last part. We should be done next week. Let me make sure, y'all, so I'm not lying to you. Yeah, we'll be done next week. I want to get into part three because I want to talk about how you then can rebuild yourself. If I've been talking to you, and a lot of what I've shared has been a reflection of how your niceness has not been genuine or authentic, and it's really caused you to be a people pleaser. It's caused you to have poor priorities, etc. I'm going to teach you next week how to repair those things so that you can repair the extent to which you are authentically nice. All right. So many of you have some questions tonight. Doc, can I fix the people pleasing? How can I do it? Et cetera. Da, 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 da. I'll get into that next week. All right. And we'll end it with part three next week. Because I want to talk about how you can reset yourself mentally, how you can reset yourself emotionally, how you can reset yourself spiritually, physically, financially. This is especially important when it comes to recognizing that things like the golden rule and serving others is really only as effective as the extent to which you're serving yourself. Okay. So I'm going to be here next Thursday. I fly out that Friday, heading to Atlanta. Those of you that are in Atlanta, I would love to see you in Atlanta for the tour next Sunday, not this coming Sunday, but next Sunday. I would love to see you there. It is the last stop for my 2025 tour. We'll pick up and do a tour in 2026. And I would love to see you there. I have the special guest, Peter Collins, that Sunday, who is an awesome singer and musician. He'll be there. If you don't have a copy of the work, get those. Those will be shipping out in about another 2 weeks, I think it is, or something like that. So I appreciate your support there. Let me also say, don't forget about a copy of Let It Go. Don't Make It Happen, Let It Go, the 5 areas of healing. If you don't have the 5 areas of healing, this is definitely something you need in your collection. Go and start getting ready for the new year. Let me say thank you to all of you that were really patient over the holidays. I was just really shocked. Well, I wasn't shocked. I only had like one person complain who literally thought we were open the day before Thanksgiving and open on Thanksgiving and open on Thanksgiving weekend and not taking breaks like anybody else. But uh yeah, people with their lack of self-awareness is crazy. But I appreciate you all being very kind and thoughtful to me, and my assistant Danielle, and really looking to work and expand to add more to that. But certainly support and go ahead and start building up for next year. I didn't mention it again. Let me say it really quickly. Don't also forget about the 3-day trauma reset for those of you that have experienced breakups, those of you that are going through difficult times mentally, emotionally, for whatever reason. Everything ain't always about love or a relationship. For whatever reason you're going through a difficult time, I'm going to spend 3 days in January, January the 5th, the 6th, and the 7th, to help you reset your brain from trauma. And it's going to be powerful. We're going to talk about how to recalibrate our attachment style, how to reset our nervous system. It's going to be very practical. We're going to talk about how to recenter ourselves emotionally with our thoughts, how to get them on the same page. It's going to be really powerful. It's going to be one of the best courses I've ever done. Seats are limited. I'm not expanding the seating for this one. If you took a course in the fall, my course in the fall, you should have a promo code for the 3-day reset. So make sure you use it. Um, but it's limited seating and it's really only for people who want a transformational experience. I'm going to tell you now, one of the things I had to be honest with myself about is making sure that I was not dumbing down my work, the value of my work, in order to help people. Because the reality is, I'm called to transform, not to just give information. If you want information, you can ask Chat GPT and Google. Okay, my job is to transform you. Um, through your healing journey, on your healing journey. And so grab one of those seats to the 3-day reset. I think you'll enjoy the course. All right. Can't wait to see you too. I see a lot of people talking about being in Atlanta. Can't wait to see you all as well. We got one more live and then we're going to be together. It's going to be great. And I'm looking forward to it. And really appreciate your support. Y'all have a good night. I'm tired. I got 11:18. You got until 11:30 to support the show if you want me to leave it up. And if it is up, you'll see it all on you'll see it on YouTube, specifically in Facebook. If not, subscribers, you will automatically get it regardless. Have a fantastic week. Peace and blessings. I will see you all next week for lives and of course in Atlanta. Where do you sign up? I'm not seeing the link. Sign up to what? Are you talking about subscriber space? Bless Detroit. Are you talking about that? Let me know what you're trying to sign up for. Are you trying to sign up for Atlanta? I see questions. I'll just make sure I answer this question. Somebody's trying to sign up for something. Are you there? Bless Detroit. Yeah, good night, y'all. Y'all have a good night. 3-day course. Yeah, it's on my website. Let me drop the link. Yeah, I think I can drop the link here. Um, I know Caitlin has the link probably for Instagram. Let me find the link here. I got it right here. Give me 1 second. Um, there's the link. Tickets for Atlanta also, Dr. Gill, are on my website. And let me get you that link for Atlanta. Maybe I should just start keeping these links handy. Da, da, da. Uh, nah, sorry, y'all. I know this is awkward, but I'm trying to answer some questions here, so I think this is great. I'm glad I saw them. There's the ticket link for Atlanta. Okay. I appreciate all of you. Thank you for your support. I will see you all at the course. I'll see you next week. Thank you, moderators, again for doing an awesome job. Appreciate all of you. And yes, definitely Michigan is on the list for next year, but it ain't gonna be during the wintertime. Oh no. But it's on the list. Peace and blessings. Y'all have a good night. Take care now. Take